Sacred Earth Journey here across America. And right now, I am currently in Biloxi, Mississippi at the Croatian Cultural Center. And I have sitting in front of me is Dave
Cvitanovich.
And your family is originally from Croatia, but before that
Agrani,
it was
Croatia. My father left Croatia in 1925. My mother left in 1953. And they came here for a better life.
Okay.
Things after World War II was tough, especially for my mother and all.
And you've lived here your whole life?
Yeah,
you were born here.
I live in the New Orleans area, but
Okay. Which is where I just came from.
I belong to this association, which I am proud of my Croatian heritage. And in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, we have similar Croatian lodges
Okay.
we have here, and we love.
So there's a pretty strong
absolutely.
population
Yes,
there
ma'am.
in New Orleans as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So you being born here, and you clearly don't have a Croatian accent. You have more of a New Orleans accent.
I have a Cajun accent.
I can
yeah.
hear it for sure. So you being a Croatian American, growing up here. Let's go back first, kind of like in your childhood and your teens. Did you ever, what was your biggest challenge being in this part of the world as a Croatian? Did you run into any challenges because
absolutely.
of where your family
The funniest
was from?
first day of kindergarten, the teacher brings a book out and says, "Susie, what's this?" And it was a book with a farm. So Susie said, "Well, that's a cow." "Johnny, what's this?" "This is a horse." Well, when it came to my turn, the farmer had a rake in his hand. So Dave, what does a farmer have in his hand? I said, "Motika," because I didn't know how to say it in English, and all the kids laughed at me, So it was kind of like.
Did you remember going back? Do you remember how you felt? What were
Oh,
the
I was
emotions?
embarrassed. I was
Yeah.
totally embarrassed
Yeah.
because it got to a point where my parents spoke Croatian at home, and I'd go sit outside. I didn't want to talk it. But at the same time, the neighborhood that we had, you had a lot of first-generation Croatians. And so ultimately, it was our language.
Yeah.
We had a Croatian priest that would come Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day and do a mass in Croatian. And so we always had those ties.
So you were able to hold on to the Croatian roots
absolutely.
growing up here, and clearly still today that's going on. What is something that, because not a lot of people really know a whole lot about Croatia, Yugoslavia, and the whole region, what is something that today, that when people find out you're Croatian, and they immediately have this assumption or this misconception of what that actually means, what would one of those things be that they get wrong?
Way back, the Croatians were very strong, hardworking people. Semi-clannish in that, in Louisiana, for instance, you had the Cajuns and you had the Croatians. And so not so much that they didn't intermingle, but it was just a similarity, but at the same time, a little animosity, whatever. But of all things, we were hardworking people, we're very well-respected people. And in our little community, they all came as either oyster fishermen or orange farmers. Well, ultimately, they ventured out into the oil industry, the marine industry, big shipyards, everything. All Croatian people, and all hardworking, good people. Mm-hmm. And it's so proud that we carry on this to this day. Yeah. Here I am with my Croatian emblem on my shirt. And Agrani is my parents' hometown and all. And the world's such a smaller place now, and everybody sees the yachts on TV and the clear water, and yes, it is. But at the same time, way back when I first went in 1967, it was totally different. Back then, the system of the government was not what it is now. But once capitalism came over there and they cleaned up their act, and now it's like the lifestyle of rich and famous. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people you see over there. Yeah. When I first went there first couple times, it was more European tourists, the poor like Czechs and Polacks. Whereas now it's who's who and what's what, the lifestyle of rich and famous. It really is beautiful.
So is there anything that people get wrong about Croatians
Well,
or Croatia? Like today, I mean.
Well, you know what gets me is the fact that everybody says Marco Polo, the renowned Venetian explorer. Kako ste?
This is live.
David
This is live.
Cvitanovich.
Do you want to be on camera?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of
I'm
course.
sorry, this is ambassador.
Okay.
Where you at, brother? What's up?
Good.
How you doing?
I just told the
Kako ste?
ambassador to be quiet. It's a pleasure to meet you.
This is ambassador, and this is.
No, ja govorim s njom in malo pa.
I'm David.
Od koji ste mjeste?
Everything good?
It's a pleasure to
O
meet
koji?
you.
Brač.
O, Brač. Moji su iz Igrane.
So what I was asking is, what is something today that when people find out you're Croatian, like what is something they get wrong about the Croatian culture, like something that they either hear on social media or whatever, and they immediately they link to Croatian culture, but it's not correct. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I guess I'm very biased. There's only two kind of people in the world, us and those that want to be like us, excuse me. But at the same time, you know, it's really improved so much that everybody desires to go there. And once they go there, says, Jesus Christ, I've never heard of this place before. It's just like Marco Polo. Marco Polo, the renowned Venetian explorer. He's born on an island of Korčula, which is Croatia. But back then, it was part of the Venetian Republic. And we've been carved up politically so many times, you know, with ethnic war and, you know, in the 90s and all this stuff. So, and I am proud. Not say that I was embarrassed when I was a child, but communist. I mean, you know, you think back when you thought
So
about.
you were associated with, you were considered to be a communist,
No,
or you were
no,
from a
but
communist
from,
country?
You understand what I'm saying? In that it was almost embarrassing, but
Well,
yet,
okay.
you know, we kept our culture up. I mean, you know, just like what these people do here in Biloxi. This is third, fourth, fifth generation. Look what we have here, and everybody is proud of what our forefathers have done here. My uncles, my father never was a part of this association, but my uncles, one of my uncles was one of the founders here. And so, you know, you're going to see people here today, fourth, fifth generation, they glad to be here.
Are you saying then that maybe people assume that you were communist, or that you're...
No,
okay.
but not communist, but you
Okay.
take like way back, say in the 70s, when I had cousins that would come here. Oh, I'm sorry. They couldn't leave until they served in the military over there. You understand what I'm saying? So they had this restriction upon them. And then, you know, now it's a totally way better way now. But, you know, it was almost embarrassing to say that you are from Yugoslavia. But then, you know, which my friends all love it. And, you know, people that we bring every year, we'll charter a yacht and put, you know, 30, 40 people. We might have 3 yachts. And guess what? They all coming
down
back.
with Croatia.
Oh, they love it, you know?
Yeah.
But, and it's become an international destination. But what you'll learn here today is these people that came here to Biloxi were hard workers, the turn of the century, and they made something of themselves. A lot of them were president of the banks, and, you know, Biloxi thrived. There was a Croatian community, partially. I mean, you had other ethnic groups, don't get me wrong, but the seafood industry, Biloxi was the seafood capital of America at one time.
So you just brought up seafood. What is like your most, when somebody says Croatian cuisine, what's the first dish you think of?
I don't want to be prejudiced, but I'm a Cvitanovich, and my cousin is Tommy Cvitanovich that made the charbroiled oysters. And I was an oyster harvester, and I'm so proud of that, you know. But at the same time, you know, what's so good about Croatian cuisine? It's like Greek and it's like Italian. Olive oil, garlic, herbs, you know, the fresh fish, octopus, the whole 9 yards. I mean, to me,
I can do without the octopus.
they call it a pitchena, which you would put like a iron globe, and you shovel the coals, hot coals on top, and they would put a mixture of vegetables and herbs, and you can't duplicate
So
that
good,
flavor,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And that's how we got where we are.
So, okay, what about like your traditions as far as like maybe holidays? Like, what is
Okay.
the strongest holiday that you associate with the Croatian culture?
Good Friday and Christmas Eve.
Okay.
In that we make a codfish stew, and you'd have to beat the codfish. It was salted codfish from Norway, and everywhere when you go in Croatia on Good Friday, you can smell it. I mean, it's a rough smell, but
Okay.
with potatoes and all this stuff. My father had a ballroom, and every year he would do Good Friday. We do the thing. So I'm about 8 years old, and you'd have to take this codfish, let it soak in water to get the salt out, like a day before.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you'd have a wooden mallet, and you would hit it. So they had a railroad track. So we're hitting it. So here I am, a kid. All these kids are running down the levee. There's an aircraft carrier going down the river. Okay, boy. So what the hell? I'll leave the codfish there. The train comes, destroys the codfish. My daddy with me. And guess what they had that year? They had oyster spaghetti instead of they call it bacala. So that's the only time we didn't have bacala for Good Friday. But no,
was everybody mad at you? No.
oh,
You never lived that one down.
yeah. But you know, but it's seafood, you know, because Good Friday in the Catholic religion in Croatia, you could smell bacala. I mean, it's
Yeah.
whatever. And here in Biloxi, they still do it. I mean, I don't think we don't have any actual born Croatians. You know, it's all first, second
Okay.
generation.
Yep.
But they still carry it on.
Yeah.
And anywhere you go in the United States, bacala is the
Wow.
Christmas. And then also the pastries. On the islands of Brač, they have what they call a pusharata. It's a little raisin ball.
Oh.
And where my mother-in-law would make krustula, which is a pastry that they make. And those are for the holidays. Do you know where the Croatians
That
are?
sounds
Yes,
good.
ma'am. Oh, yeah.
For Croatian community, family, who, like across different cultures, right? There are matriarchal cultures, there are patriarchal cultures.
Mm-hmm.
There are cultures where really the women are the ones ruling things, but from behind and in the secret.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, when it comes to Croatian community, like, just what's kind of the hierarchy? Are the grandparents, is there a lot of extended family influence on
Well-
raising children?
Well, we have in Plaquemines Parish, we have an organization just like this one. They'll have the Croatian, they'll do the rosary once a week. But then we have a festival in October, second or third week in October, and it has all the Croatian food. They'll wear the Croatian costumes and have the kolo dancers type and all.
Yeah.
And we'd have several musicians from Croatia, and it's a big, big draw. And I mean, you know, over here does the same. You know, they do it somewhat, but we see more and more of that. Everywhere we go, I mean, I've been to multiple places in the United States. You take up in Tacoma, Washington, in San Pedro, California, up in Pittsburgh, New York. We've got these fraternal organizations.
So there's extended family like actively engaged in
Actually, absolutely.
the communities, right?
Absolutely.
So like, because I know
Absolutely.
like one of the things in America that we're starting to see is the families are spread out. The children are not really exposed as much to the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles and the cousins. Is today the Croatian community here still extremely tight knit, and multiple generations are involved in?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Here somewhat, but like where we're at in Plaquemines Parish,
Yeah.
they have kids all learning to speak Croatian.
Okay.
You know, and I've got neighbors in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
and I'll speak Croatian to them, and they'll count to 20 and all that stuff. But they enthused. You understand what I'm saying? Because that was the language of their grandparents, great grandparents,
Yeah.
and we see what would be like a rejuvenation of it, you know,
That's
and
good.
we're proud of it with the soccer matches and everything else, athletics and all this stuff. I mean, when you look at the board here with all the soldiers, you know, people that fought in Louisiana, we have the Croatian society has tombs, and my father was buried. We didn't have a tomb when he passed away, so we buried him in a tomb. But then we moved him, and there's a monument. During the Civil War, they had a Petrovich company and a Konovich, with on the Confederate side, but yet they've got a monument. In World War I, we lost Croatians. In World War II, and even in Vietnam, the first man from our area died was a Sirkovich. So there's a big monument to that. So I mean, they gave their lives.
Who makes the decisions in a Croatian family? The mom, the dad, the grandma, or the grandpa?
Well, I'm married to an American woman, so it ain't her. But no, Croatians are very. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which my American wife, I love my wife, but and she learned a lot of Croatian traditions, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just makes me feel good because
I feel like you're averting the question.
no, but honestly, I never will forget Croatian. They love this fraternal instinct, whatever. Never will forget when my sister had her first child, a little girl. And I mean, right there, my mama said, "Well, don't worry, next one will be a boy," And
so
that's
there's a lot of value, or
absolutely
not value. That's the wrong word. I guess maybe just emphasis placed on the
yeah.
boys.
Oh
and the
yeah,
men.
no,
Okay.
I mean that
Yeah.
is definitely true.
Okay.
With all Croatians. I mean,
Okay.
my God.
So are the men typically the ones like making the major decisions, or is
I
it?
guess so.
Yeah.
That's kind of a trick question,
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know. In Croatian culture, then versus now, are the women more at home, or are they very working,
yes.
or?
I think the Croatian men are headstrong.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's honestly, when you see an American girl marry a Croatian guy, and a Croatian guy has got to be his way. I mean,
Okay.
And some of them will, I guess, over time, but I see some of them are still steadfast and adamant, saying it politely.
What to you, like, I know it's hard to imagine being born into a different culture, but like for somebody who knows nothing about Croatian culture, what's one thing you would want the stranger to know about Croatian culture?
Well, we're a proud people. And, I mean, most of my friends are Americans, but they admire where we come from, what we did. And, Croatian culture, what would be like reciprocating. You know what I'm saying? In that you got people that don't like this one, they want to like it, but still in all, when one's down, they're there to help.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and,
very tight-knit.
It's a tight-knit community. And it's just like, for instance, I just heard recently someone was sick over there, an older guy, and with excessive heat. And, the hospitals, not saying that they're inferior, but they're not American hospitals. You understand what I'm saying? And, right away, they praying the rosary for the guy. Hopefully he's doing better, but he's got sepsis and all that stuff, and it could happen anywhere.
Sure.
But at the same time, we not say everybody's angels, but we try to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like years ago, they had this one fella passed away, and his reputation wasn't the best. But his father was a member of the society that we had in Louisiana. And my uncle at the time was the president of the Croatian Society in Louisiana. And so I called him up and said, Uncle, I said, so-and-so passed away. I said, he ain't got nothing. I'll sponsor for him to be buried in a tomb. And we said, well, this one didn't like him. I said, look, you leave that alone. And guess what? That year we wound up with 25 new members. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you got to give back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And one thing, yeah, you know, you got people that butt heads, but at the same time, we don't want anybody to talk bad about us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, we'll gossip, just like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though,
Yeah.
there's a coffee shop in Belchase, and right now, which most of the bars are coming back from Croatia, but sometimes you'll be there, 25, 30 people, and nobody's speaking English. And one thing about Croatian, if you want to shut them up, tie his hands, because everybody talks with their
And
hands.
same with the Sicilians. I've had to learn how to keep my hands still when I'm recording.
Yeah. But no, all in all, I mean, you know, it's just, yeah, I'd love to see my niece and nephew speak Croatian, which my neighbors, their kids went last year with us, and lo and behold, you know, they all, I'm Dunda Dave, not Uncle Dave, Dunda Dave, and on, and you know, and every time I'll mess with them, say another word and all, and they'll answer me, and it does me good, you know.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know, like I said, at the same time though, when I was coming up, not say that it was embarrassing, but it was like I was you know, I was a few. I was one of the few. Whereas now, I'm one of them, the ones that they want to desire to be like. I mean, I'm not bragging,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm glad that's where I come from,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's good.
So,
Well, Dave, thank you very much.
thank you, and I
really
hope you enjoy
appreciate
yourself
coming on.
today.
For sure.
And how long are you going to be in this New Orleans area? Or?
Leaving tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, seriously,
Do me this real quick before we close this one out. Tell everyone thank you for watching and goodbye in your native tongue.
hvala vam što ste nas slušali I dobro sreću. Adio. God bless America.
He may have just like really put me down. I don't know. All right. Thank you guys for joining.